Let's talk about something that's been on your mind. Why do they come back after rejecting you? It's a question that can stir up confusion and even a bit of frustration. Rejection is tough, and when someone turns you down, it can feel like the end of the road. But what happens when they come back later? Let's break down the reasons behind this and why it may not be as random as it seems. 1. The initial rejection. Let's talk about rejection. It's one of the hardest things to go through, especially when it comes from someone you care about. But what you need to understand is that rejection doesn't always mean it's the end of the road. In fact, there are many reasons someone might reject you at first. Sometimes it's timing. Maybe they weren't in the right place emotionally, or they were dealing with personal stuff that had nothing to do with you. And other times, it could be because they just weren't ready for a relationship, but deep down, they still felt something for you. This doesn't mean you're not valuable or worthy. It just means that for whatever reason, the moment wasn't right. 2. The change of heart. Now let's talk about why they return. When someone rejects you and then comes back later, it usually has a lot to do with their own personal growth or change. Rejection can sometimes be a wake-up call for them. They may have needed time to process their feelings or to experience life without you, and during that time, they realize what they had was special. People also change. Sometimes when they rejected you, they might have been in a place where they didn't fully understand what you brought to the table, or they had fears and insecurities that prevented them from moving forward. But as time passes, they grow, and they often come to a realization that they may have made a mistake. 3. The fear of missing out. Another huge factor here is the concept of FOMO, the fear of missing out. When they've had some time apart, they might start to see you living your life, growing, and thriving without them. This can trigger feelings of regret and the realization that they could have lost something truly great. When you're doing well and not sitting around waiting for them, it can create this sense of urgency in them. They start to wonder if they made the wrong choice, and that's when they come back. It's not always about them genuinely wanting to be with you right away, but more about the idea that they may have missed out on something valuable. The emotional realization. It's important to consider the emotional side of things. Sometimes people reject you because they're afraid of getting hurt or because they want to protect themselves. But over time, they come to realize that the emotional connection they feel for you doesn't go away. The longing, the attraction, and the bond can start to outweigh their fears, and they begin to reassess their feelings toward you. So when they come back, it's because they've done some emotional work or have come to terms with their past fears, and now they see you in a new light. They may have learned from their previous mistakes or even grown more attracted to you as they understand themselves better. When someone rejects you but then returns later, it's usually due to a combination of timing, personal growth, and sometimes the fear of missing out on something they once didn't appreciate fully. Remember, rejection doesn't define your worth, and their return doesn't always mean you should go running back to them. Take your time, evaluate their intentions, and make sure you're not just a backup plan.